welcome to the second lesson on higher tier GCSE quadratic expansion. The first thing you need to do is practice the more basic expansion, write down the question, show you're working, and write down the answer. You can use whichever method you choose. Pause the video while you work these out. The answer to question 1, or A, is x squared plus 7x plus 12. The answer to question B is x squared plus x take away 12. The answer to question C is x squared take away x take away 12. And the answer to question D is x squared take away 7x plus 12. Note that these four questions, the only difference in them is whether they have a positive or a negative sign in the bracket, which shows you just how careful you need to be when working these out, because they give you four different answers. Finally, question E, when simplified, gives us x squared take away 9. So today we are looking at quadratic expansion where we have a non-unit coefficient. What that means is we won't have a 1 or a negative 1 as the value in front of the x squared once expanded. So looking at this example, we're going to expand 2t plus 3, 3t plus 1. We're going to copy this down into your exercise books. So you can actually use whichever method for expansion that you would want to. I'm going to use the box method this time, or the grid method. So I'm going to write the first bracket along the top, the second bracket down the side, and we're going to multiply those together. As you can see, we've written it out. We've got 6t squared plus 2t plus 9t plus 3. And when we simplify that, we have 6t squared plus 11t plus 3. The second example. Again, you can use whichever method you want. This time I'm going to use the expansion method. So I'm going to write 4x multiplied by the second bracket, and then a negative 1 multiplied by the second bracket. But notice we've not written the 1 in there, we've just written the negative, because 1 times that bracket is just that bracket. So expanding the first section, we've got 12x squared take away 20x, and expanding the second section, we've got a negative, or subtracting 3x and adding 5. Note that is because you're subtracting a negative 5. So when we simplify, we get 12x squared take away 23x plus 5. Be very careful with negatives. Another example. We're going to copy this one down as well. So this question has a context. We've got a triangle here. We're told the base is 2x plus 8 metres and a perpendicular height of x minus 5 metres. And we want to find an expression for its area. Now, whenever shape is involved, it is a good idea to sketch that shape, because sometimes that makes it easier to visualise things and know what you need to do. Now, the accuracy of the size of the shape does not matter. We are not drawing this to scale. So any triangle where we can label the base and the height. So, area of a triangle, if you remember the formula, is half times base times height, or just half BH. And we're going to substitute those values in for the base and the height. So each of those brackets, which will give us half, and then in bracket 2x plus 8, and a second set of brackets, x take away 5. Using whichever method you choose, the working is not on here, but you can do that in your head or written down. We've got 2x squared take away 10x plus 8x take away 40. Note that the half is still there, that is still part of our calculation. We haven't used it yet, it still needs to be written there. Simplifying the term in the bracket, we still have the half in front of the bracket. Then we have 2x squared take away 2x take away 40. Now everything is simplified, we can calculate half of all of that, which gives us x squared take away x take away 20. And if we were to give the units, that would be in metres squared. We don't know a value for the area because we don't know the value of x. But if we were given a value of x, we could work out the value of the area. We asked for the expression, therefore that is what we have given. Note in the top right hand corner it gives you the format for your answer. All that means is you're going to write the x squared term, followed by the x term, followed by the constant term. So work through these questions, write down the question, show your working and write down the answer. Pause the video to give you time to work through these. Okay, here are the answers. Mark your work. Pause the video again while you mark it. Some problem solving questions now. So copy down your question and match up to the answer. It says to do this without expanding the brackets. So can you start to spot the patterns that it's going to give you? And part B is asking you to explain how you did it. Another set of questions. Start to work them out, but you will then hopefully notice a pattern. And once you do notice that pattern, as long as you write the question and the answer, you can miss out your intermediate steps this time. A problem solving question for you now. And some more problem solving questions for you to have a go at. Okay, here are all the answers for this exercise. Pause the video while you do your marking. Okay, that is it for quadratic expansion. We will see you next time. Goodbye.